check. 1, 2, 2, check. It's a difficult question. I certainly don't think I am this way, or many of my peers are. I mean, we are much more like students, I feel like. This question, not to be too technical or boring, but like what I look for in some kind of maverick is a way of creating a new sound without repackaging something that's already existed. Like Thelonious Monk, he had a way of playing piano, of hitting maybe the wrong notes, and Charles Ives is very similar, where it's like clusters of tone, microtonal kind of sounds. And, you know, with new groups, if these kind of things happened, it would be considered, oh, it's out of tune, you know? And so I don't know what kind of avant-garde is left, because everything is very curated and rational. And in order to be a maverick, you have to destroy rational thought, you know, like Burroughs said. So it's difficult to do that and also be respected, or also, you know, easy to get along with, or to get booked or anything like that, you know. Interesting thing about trap to be the minimalism. It's a bit like Suicide, like who I saw on this very stage perform one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, in which they didn't get nostalgic or do their old Suicide sound. They did this sort of new digital era music. It was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, and I got to talk to Alan Vega on the bus on the way back to the hotel, and so many heroes I've met here. But trap, you know, to me, it reminds me a bit of Suicide, and that they're using these sort of minimal and sometimes primitive electronics, and it's concentrating a lot on the hi-hat, you know? And it's a sort of sinister sound. And it's not, it doesn't have this glitter to it that I see applied to it from the European perspective of it. It's music from very troubled neighborhoods, made by very troubled people who probably have an artistic agenda that's very potent because of the troubled circumstances they come from. Whereas now, to be so extravagant, you have to be very self-aware. And you have to know that there are people suffering, and that there's so much... it's a very difficult time in the world, obviously, and there's so much duress. And to be extravagant in this time, when we are very well defined in our positions and aware of our privileges, seems to me disrespectful to the world, you know? Whereas back then, I think it was without reason. There was no logic. They were just making it up as they went along. But now the book has been written, and we've read the book, and we've seen where all these people who lived these extravagant lives ended up. Most of them, of course, meeting very early, you know, young deaths, very sad situations. So whether it's for self-preservation, or for the preservation of the culture, or for the preservation of the world, one has to make a decision to not be so excessive, you know. Everything that's here, I like, as an artist, to go into a space, whether I'm painting or writing, making music, or recording an album. I like to go into a studio and see what is there. I don't like to have a expensive bus carrying all our gear to this place to make it just like our home or something. You know, it's wasteful. And if you can't make music with what's put in front of you, I question your relevance. You know what I mean? What's relevant is one's ability to create art with what one has available to them, the materials you have around you. We don't ask for anything special because it's not needed. We should be able to make a great show with what's there and the minimal amount of stuff. Because when you, and I've worked in so many situations in being part of films, big productions, being part of big musical productions, being a bystander, watching like theater and all these kind of things. And it's, the more money things cost, usually the less artistically potent they are.